because books take so long to write and then so long to publish, you do start on. So every book, while the other book was being edited, I was starting on the next one and I got my contract the next one. This is a little different, maybe because of my age, but I haven't started on another biography. I've started on a collection of essays that's going to be called The Writing Life of Writing Lives, which will be essays by Pulitzer Prize winning biographers about writing biography. I'm also doing something because of having written about Tony Hillerman, is I'm writing a novel. Now, again, you asked about my experience in publishing. I know the likelihood of my novel A being published or B finding readers is very slim. But for me, the great reward of writing is writing. So spending time writing a novel is, to me, as exciting as spending time writing a biography. And then when that's done, I may have to get back to my real day job and find another subject. There are a lot of successful mystery writers, but they're not all good, not all going to make good biographies. A lot of them got up in the morning, went to the typewriter and typed all day. Not much action there. Hillerman not only had an extraordinary life, such as being wounded in World War II, growing up in poverty in a small town in Oklahoma, which makes for compelling reading. When he accidentally ended up writing murder mysteries set on the Navajo Nation using Navajo detectives, he fundamentally altered the genre of mysteries in that if you picked up any mystery in the 1960s, they were white male investigators. In a sense, he desegregated mystery writing by doing this. And it was really a revolutionary act. And what I particularly like about it is that I think often the genius of an artist is not intentionally doing something. We have a painting in our home of a zebra, and there's a little golden tear, a little tear made of gold paint. The artist accidentally dropped a little bit of paint and got ready to rub it out, but noticed it made this tear, perfectly shaped tear, and the painting became known as the golden tear. Well, Hillerman unintentionally included a Navajo investigator in his first book and soon realized what an act of change he was doing by doing that, and ended up writing 18 of them. And he had much beloved. Joe Leaphorn and Jim Chee are loved by people all around the world. The reason Europeans in France and Germany and other places know so much about American Navajos is not because they read some free volume book by Henry B. Schmickelbeyer, an anthropologist. It's because they read Tony Hillerman. And Tony Hillerman, in a very appreciative and respectful manner, explained the culture and spirituality of Navajos. Of course, what's so interesting about writing about his life now is he could never do that today, because he would be accused of cultural appropriation, a term that didn't exist when he started. And he navigated, by the end of his life, a very difficult path, because there was growing concern among Native Americans about what he was doing, the amount of money he was making off of it, and whether it was appropriate what he was doing. So it made for a great biography, because it's not only a compelling story, but it has controversy and moments of reflection, particularly in this era where we're beginning to think about these things. Who has the right to whose story is a very important question. When you're disenfranchised and oppressed, the only thing you own anymore is your culture and your stories. You know, for instance, the Hopi Indian find their sacred death masks at auction in France every once in a while, which they shouldn't be there. I mean, that's inappropriate. The broader question is, can somebody write about somebody outside their culture, is one in which I have a strong feeling about, which is separate than cultural appropriation. In that, one of the great things about writing and reading is it gives us a chance to gain insights into other people's world. I mean, reading James Baldwin as a white kid growing up gave me an opportunity to understand more about Black Americans than a newspaper might have. You can, in a sense, you know, Richard Wright, you can, in a sense, live in their lives, even though it's fiction. But one has to be careful in literally appropriating something. If you're making a T-shirt and you're making a design that represents a Native American design, makes money off it, that's a little different. So in writing a book about Tony Hillerman, I had to tackle all of these issues. And I think I give a fair rendering of their pointed criticism as well as Tony's defense, and let the reader decide in the end what's appropriate.